So before I started filming, I pulled out all of the little bits and pieces from the Maggie Holmes carousel collection for crepe paper. And I also pulled out this 6x6 stencil and I arranged it exactly where I wanted everything to go on my layout, just so that I had the kind of balance that I wanted before I stuck anything down or put paste on my stencil. Now what I'm going to do, this is a little trick that I like to do a lot when I'm creating something for my background. I will adhere everything together that's on the top of the background, so that I can then just adhere it all at once together. So I have a giraffe loving child, so I'm really excited that there are giraffes in this collection. It's Carousel by Crepe Paper. And you can see here that I'm just putting everything just slightly off at an angle because I want this to be quite a relaxed layout, a bit playful. And then I always add dimensional adhesive to my photo just to help that pop up. Okay, so now that I have everything adhered together, I can just easily pick that up and check out my background. Now before I do that, I want to make sure that I have the stencil exactly in the right place. I want it to be kind of emanating out from the top left-hand corner of my photo. So I'm going to move the pattern paper off the page as well, just so that I don't get any paste on it. And I'm going to use washi tape to hold my stencil down, just on the corner that I know I won't be adding any paste. Now I loved in Raquel's video on adding subtle texture, she explained a few different kinds of mediums. This is the one I have on hand. It's called molding paste. And the reason why I'm using it today is because I just have it on hand, but I really want to go out and try the other type that she suggested because you can tell that this has a slightly gray color. Now to fix that, because I have a really white background paper, I'm going to add just a few drops of spray mist. And I would just start out really slow with this, just a couple drops at a time, because I really don't want it to be overwhelming color. I just want a slight yellow tint, because remember, Raquel's class is called Subtle Details, and I really want to make sure that this is subtle while still adding that texture that I want to my background. So this looks like a really good color, so I just use my palette knife here to mix that in, and then I'm just going to go over my template. And in Raquel's class, she gives you quite a few awesome tips on the best way to do this. I think I need a bit more practice because it can be a bit tricky to get it evenly on your stencil. So I highly recommend watching the Adding Subtle Texture videos in the Subtle Details class by Raquel. It's really helpful to watch her technique and her explanations. Okay, so once you have your stencil filled, then it's best to take off the stencil right away so that you can clean it, or else your paste can stick to the stencil, and we definitely don't want that. So I'm going to just really carefully pull it off, and look at that texture. That's really gorgeous. I really love it. It's still wet, so I can't touch it or add anything to the top, but you can see here just how great it looks. So now here's my layout. I'm going to add everything to the top. And I really, really, really love this pattern paper. I love that there's green in this collection because green is definitely one of my favorites, as is yellow. So see how simple that is when you have everything already adhered together. You can just pop it straight on. And then I'm going to pop up some of the corners of my die cuts here, just so there's a bit of extra dimension. Next, I'm going to add this little black and white strip to the pattern paper at the bottom. Just making sure that I have that on there straight. There we go. So I want to make a visual triangle with yellow, and I have the yellow from my stencil. I have the yellow down at the bottom right hand corner of the pattern paper, so I'm also going to add in this kite. And even though kites don't have anything to do with carousels, it's just another fun piece. And I cut this out of one of the pattern papers from the collection. So I want a bit more yellow for that bottom corner, and this word happy is on this piece of pattern paper, so I'm going to fussy cut this out and use it as part of my title. I'm pairing it with some gold foil thickers from the collection, and I love the juxtaposition of the cursive font with the sans serif font there. So that to me feels extremely well balanced. I just want to add a few more little tiny pieces to the mix here. They have these awesome green and blue stars, so I'm going to add a few of those in here. Those are so cute. And I'm also going to grab a couple of these cardstock stickers. And after I add my journaling, I think I'm going to call this layout done. So you can see here just that little bit of texture in the top left-hand corner, what that adds to the layout. It adds just a tiny bit of color, very subtle color, and a lot of extra interest without taking away from anything else on the page. Thanks for joining me today for this quick video. I had so much fun watching Raquel's videos and taking her class, and I highly encourage you to do the same so that you can learn new ways to add subtle texture to your layouts. There are so many new techniques and new inspiration pieces to be found over at Big Picture Classes. So go to www.bigpictureclasses.com to learn more about a membership today. Thanks so much and happy creating!